Matt Stoner is a poi spinner and flow artist based out of Portland, Oregon. He's a great friend of mine, and this episode was long awaited. Support us on Patreon for just $5 a month to help us continue this project. Welcome to the Poidcast and enjoy the episode, my friends. Episode 28, Matt Stoner, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing, man?
I am A-okay.
Goddamn, Matt, you are in contention. You are top 3, if not the debatable best setup I have seen on the podcast thus far. Congratulations, my friend.
Is there an award for that?
There should be, and we'll actually consider it. And if there is one, you're most likely getting it. So, beautiful setup. My man is ready. Let's get right into it. Let's go all the way back. Matt Stoner, tell us how and when did this flow arts and poi journey start for you?
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. It's been a little over 9 years. So I actually got my first set of poi on January 1st, 2015. That's right. It was like a New Year's sale from ymazingLights.com, scandal noted.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if there's a scandal, but I know that a bunch of people talk shit about Amazing Lights or whatever. But I had no idea where to get props from, dude. Like, I didn't know anything about anything. Like, my introduction to poi had nothing to do with the flow scene or anything like that at all. It started on like probably somewhere in December 2014. I used to work for an environmental organization, and on Thursday nights we would have something called staff night where we would all get together and hang out outside of the office, outside of our suits and ties, because we were used to like talking to senators and lobbying for environmental legislation. And it was very much like straight and narrow, like not
right.
You know what I mean? Like we had to hide our hippie all the time.
Totally.
And so on Thursdays, it was just like, let's hang out and just get to know each other as people. And we had a year where our staff, well, probably like a few months where our staff was just all like really cool people. Everyone had used psychedelics. We were all into like philosophy and just really heady shit. And
open-minded folks.
Yeah, sure. And so we had a staff night in December. And we had all taken some acid. Are we allowed to talk about drugs? Is this going to get edited out?
It's okay.
I do have a family friend. I have a family-friendly version of this story. It's just much, much shorter.
That's okay.
The more interesting one does involve drugs. So we all taken some acid and we were just hanging out. And my boss, she had a set of pod poi. Basic pod poi loop handles, version 1s probably, like they were old, and it just looked really cool. You know, she had it on like some rainbow pattern mode, and seeing the light trails and everything just from like the other side of the room was really cool to look at. And it reminded me of some movements that I had already learned before. So if you rewind back, like, I don't know, another 10, 12 years or so, I was probably like 11 or 12. When I first experienced poi, technically, I was at a campground that my family frequented. We went there like probably every weekend of the summer. And my godmother, she's from Hawaii. She had some family in town who were doing like a fire show thing for the campground. And they were also teaching people how to make poi and how to spin poi, which I missed. I didn't see any of that. I was probably trying to like flirt with some girls at the pool or something. But like I had no interest in it. And my godmother came back to the campsite. She showed me these little poi that she'd made. I didn't give a shit. She showed me how to do a butterfly. She said it took her all day to figure out and she still couldn't do it. And she handed them to me and kind of showed me like what she was attempting to do. And I just did it. And I was like, cool, whatever. And then she showed me another move that they taught her, the 2-beat weave. And I had already actually learned that. Because if you rewind another like 10 years or so, not 10 years, maybe like 5 or so. I was probably like 5 or 6 when I was in the church still. I grew up very, very Christian. That's a whole other story. But like I was in the Bible Belt in Pensacola, Florida, and our church had a like worship flag team. So there's like a bunch of dancers and they had flags and stuff, like giant flags. And they taught me how to do a 2-beat weave with those. And so so you're starting out like 5 or 6. I learned a 2-beat weave with flags. Fast forward till I'm like 11 or 12. I learn a butterfly, and then I finally see what poi is, but it totally gets erased from my brain until another 10 years later when I'm tripping on LSD with my coworkers on our staff night. We're playing with poi, and I saw them, and it was just like I know what these things are, and I know what to do with them, kind of. I never really saw them being used as a dance prop. I only saw them being used as like a yo-yo, essentially. And not even like with cool tricks, just like a very basic maneuver. It wasn't cool at all. And I had no example of them being set on fire or anything like that. I had no idea any of this existed. As far as I know, it was just these little light balls in my friend's apartment on staff night. And so I tried it. It felt really cool. I could not put it down. Like my boss asked for them back, and I was like, oh, darn. She had another set of poi, like some sock poi that I was able to play with. And like, yeah, it was just such a cool feeling. I could not put it down. And then, we would have staff night. We would hang out a lot. Like this environmental firm that I worked for was very like tightly knit. So like we would work together, and then we would all hang out together.
Nice.
And so whenever we were hanging out, I would play with the poi as much as I could. And then, I think they had either New Year's deal or Christmas deal or something that I bought a poi. And
awesome.
January 1st, they showed up at my house.
That's awesome. So you got your poi. When you had got poi at that time, were you mainly learning from friends or other poi spinners in person, or were you learning mainly from online tutorials or online videos? Like where did you get your early knowledge from?
I actually never really met another poi spinner until like 5 years later. So a lot of what I did learn from my boss, Hallie. I learned like corkscrew or whatever, like a horizontal kind of 2-beat weave. I learned a little bit from her until I kind of like surpassed her a little bit, just because once I got my poi, I became obsessed with it, like obsessed. Yeah, I couldn't stop doing it. It was just like every moment that I could, I just wanted to do it.
Absolutely.
So I learned a lot just from playing with them, honestly. And I did use some tutorials. I used a lot of play poi tutorials from lik. I liked him a lot. I really liked his playfulness, and I like his, like, he doesn't use, I don't like the techie and mathematical terms and stuff. Like, I won't name people that I don't care to bring up, but I like the playfulness of Lik and how he just makes up words for things.
The super duper uber loop.
Thank you. On, yeah, I love that. Like that. That's how I kind of teach too, because I don't know the names of things, and they all seem so like arbitrary. Like I'll be doing something, and then someone will be like I don't know. Like I just don't know what things are called. So as far as I know, it's all
reels versus hip reels versus this. It's like
as far as I know, it's just a circle. You can do a circle or like half of a circle. So like you can do a circle or a half a circle and combine it in however many ways you want. Like that's it.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. So you had learned just a couple things from, sounds like some folks around you, but primarily you weren't learning from people online, such as Nick, which obviously we're huge Nick fans around here. Nick is a huge friend of the channel. We absolutely love Nick. And so many people that we've had on the podcast so far have spoken very highly of him. And they were, he was very involved in a lot of our earlier days of learning, especially online. So shout out to Nick.
Still today, honestly, like whenever I get into ruts or something, like, okay, he put out a body of work on udemy.com called like Poi Basics and then Beyond the Basics or something. It's 2 tutorial series. One is geared towards like never picked up poi before in their life, and the other is like Beyond the Basics, like getting on with it. And I refer to both of these bodies of work often, like more often than anything else. Yeah. Still nice. 9 years later. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. There's tons of stuff to go back to and learn from. Absolutely. So when was your first Flow Arts Festival and which one was it?
Oh, that's a great question. I started going to Flow festivals in 2018, and it was Campfire Retreat in Minnesota. I don't remember where in Minnesota. It's in Minnesota though, like Parks Grove or something like that. It's out of the way. I lived in Connecticut at the time, so I drove 2 days or maybe 3 days. I don't remember how many days. I think that the drive there and back was more easily more time than the actual festival itself.
Sure. And so you hadn't really, like you were saying earlier, you hadn't met another poi spinner for, another poi spinner that was really pursuing the art for, many years.
That was when I met them.
Right. So how was that experience for you? How was the Flow Festival experience for you the first time that you went?
It was delightful. That was the first time I met other poi spinners. Yeah, I was invited by a really, really good friend of mine and an amazing flow artist, poi spinner, puppy hammer spinner, named Matt Freeman. And he might be going by Oliver these days. I'm not sure. His Instagram is like geometric, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right. We'll get into that here in a moment.
Yeah, no.
He is one of your reference videos.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. And the first poi spinner that I met, really, like I remember finding Poi Chat. And I don't remember how I found Poi Chat, but I remember like trying to ask a bunch of questions, like technical questions, like how do you know like how to size your poi, or like it was just like stuff like that. Just like what are some recommendations on setups and stuff. And I got like 100 billion troll responses, and I got one person being nice to me, and that person was Matt Freeman, and he DM'd me personally. He added me on Facebook. And he sent me like pictures and videos, and like he took the time to really answer my questions and to be really, really helpful. And I was just like, cool. And then I never even saw his poi spinning until after that. And then I found him on Instagram. Oh yeah, he was also, I think, the first person to tell me to go on Instagram for poi spinning.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And I found him, and I was like, wow, you're so good. And he just was doing all sorts of stuff that I'd never seen or thought of or anything like that. And so we chatted a bunch, and we started talking online. And then I think I met him in person once before our the Flow Festival that he introduced me or invited me to. And that was like, I was traveling back and forth or something, and he happened to be on the way, and it was like, let's just like get together and meet. And we met, and he invited me to a campfire. And when I went, he was the only person that I knew. So it kind of felt like, if you ever been to a party, like your friend's party or your friend's friend's party, like your friend's like, hey, let's go to this bonfire or whatever thing. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll go. And you don't know anybody, but you know your friend. And you don't want to like, it's uncomfortable to walk around and be like, hi, I'm Matt. What's up?
Right,
what do you
right.
do? And it's uncomfortable. But you also don't want to be like, don't you fucking leave me. Don't you stay by my side this whole time. I'm nervous. I don't know anybody. Fucking don't go where I can't see you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be that guy either. So I definitely had a little bit of that going on in my head whenever I first got there. Because I was like, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know. I was a little bit scared. And I showed up before he did. So I was like, I'm just going to set up a spot, and then maybe like I'll like, it was nerve-wracking.
So did at this performance or at this Flow Festival, did they have like a gala? Is it like a traditional Flow Festival where they have galas, fire circles, all that stuff? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Campfire retreats, like classic. I think it's an FIA or whatever.
FAI. Yeah.
FAI.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those festivals. At least it was. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but yeah.
I don't hear about Campfire anymore. I've heard about it previously, but
there was camping. There were instructors. And as soon as I got there, I was seeing people that I had recognized from the internet. I saw Ryan Duschwam. He camped right behind me, which was like cool. And he recognized me as someone who comments on his posts and was just like, hi. Cute. I know, it was the most adorable thing. I was like,
shout out to Ryan Duschwam. That's the man right there. I've interviewed Ryan and his partner Kristen, and they're both incredible individuals. Very awesome that you got to meet them right off rip. So on the topic of Flow festivals, once you started going to more, because that was your first one, so you've been to several after that. Now, do you enjoy teaching or performing more? Which one are you more oriented towards?
Probably teaching. Yeah. I don't really perform. And honestly, I haven't really taught a whole lot. I teach on the internet a little bit, and I'll teach my friends. If you run into me and you have any questions for me, I'll always be down to like help you out. But I've only put together one performance of my own, and I've been a part of another artist's performance, like maybe like 1 or 2 times, and it went fine. But I don't know. I'm not.
You like teaching more?
I think I like teaching more. That's the easiest and shortest way to say it.
That's fair. That's okay. So, would you ever consider? You said you have put together an act before, but was it for a Flow Fest or was it for a separate thing?
It was for a gala that was a part of a fundraiser for like this art collaborative art space here in Portland that does like multimedia, like they do flow arts for sure, but then they also do like carpentry and painting, and if you want to make art, that's the place to go.
Absolutely. I've heard it's is it ʤʟᴜ? Is that right?
That's right. ʤʟᴜ.
Yeah, I know some stuff. All right. That's for sure. So as far as putting together an act for a Flow Fest, is it something that you have any motivation at this current stage in your life to do, maybe down the line? Like, do you have any desire to do that? Any motivation?
I want to say no. And
that's fine.
I feel like that sounds horrible. Like,
no, it doesn't at all. You know how many Matt, you know how many people I talk to that don't vibe with and are not even skill level is not even really a factor a lot of the times. Like one of the funniest interviews I had was with Cassie. Cassie's like, dude, I don't fucking like performing. I was like, what?
I would like it better with other people, I think, because I do like to be on stage, and I used to be in a band, and I played like 300 shows a year, but I was a drummer. I was behind the drums. I had something to hide behind, and I was collaborating with with other people on stage. I wasn't alone, it was us. And if there was some kind of fire thing to, I don't know.
Maybe with a team, maybe choreographing a group performance would be sweet. And there's so much space for that, and there's so much room for innovation with performing with multiple people or with a partner.
Yeah.
Once again, I'll shout out Ryan and Kristen. I forgot they're the third person that did the performance at IJA with them, but it was incredible. If you're curious, if you're listening to this episode and you're curious about maybe choreographing some group stuff, go check out that episode and you'll find the performance link in the bio, and we talk about it and stuff. But there's tons of great stuff to do with people, so I love that. Love to hear it. But I'm not opposed to seeing Matty perform someday by himself.
This would be my other what would you call it? Exception is if I could have a producer or someone make music specifically for me. If I told them like these, like if I gave them like some journal pages or something, and then was like, make a song, produce a song that sounds kind of like this with these types of cadences and ups and downs, and that is talking about this issue or this feeling or this moment that I've documented in my life, then I would probably be able to. Because like to me, it's a very, 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 very personal form of art for me and expression. And for me to just like get on stage and show people what I can do with Poi and hope that they like it, that's like not like, that's like too vulnerable for me.
I completely
so like it would have to,
that.
it would almost have to be like a confession. Like it would have to be like less of it an audience who's like, we paid money to be here, so do something that we can clap for,
obviously,
and more like I would want my audience to feel more like we're at an AA meeting right now and it's Matt's turn.
Right.
I get it.
Right. So I think a lot of folks, maybe when I ask about performing, sometimes I don't necessarily think about performing a lot of the ways that other people might, because when I put together an act and when I am doing a showcase at a Flow Festival, I really want to give them the same feeling that I got when I saw my first gala, and I saw primarily referring to Βʟᴜᴱ, when I saw Βʟᴜᴱ perform. it was one of the most inspiring moments. It gave me so much inspiration, so much motivation, and I loved seeing what he loved the most about poi. And I really want to give that to other people. And if I can try to show the audience what I love about poi the most, and where my brain goes, and what rabbit holes I've been down, and the things that I love the most about my style, or all the little bits of styles that I pull together in my own unique showcase. I think that's really what it's about. So it's not so much about the individual, it's about the work that's being showcased. And I think if we approach it more like that, I think it's easier for us to try to get on stage or create an act, I'll say, because you have so much unique stuff that you could do, Matt, and you're a very unique spinner and a very unique guy in a lot of ways. So if you ever feel the motivation, you're ever feeling up to it, I would absolutely encourage you to do it, and I'd love to see it. Now, I'm going to move on to a topic that I think is quite funny, because it's a theme at this point on the podcast. Okay, this podcast and myself specifically, we got a 3-poi bias up in here. We got an agenda to fill, an agenda to push. Okay, to get people to start spinning 3-poi.
Not gonna happen.
Okay, I hear you. So I know you don't post 3-poi, and I love watching your 2-poi just as much as anybody's, right? But do you ever even spin 3-poi behind some closed doors?
No. I don't. I really don't. Here's what happens with me in 3-poi. Sometimes people will have a set of 3-poi and they'll be like, here's my new poi, check them out. And it'll be a 3-poi set. And then I'll spin them and they're like, oh, I didn't know you spin 3-poi. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I'll put the other one down. Be like, I don't spin 3-poi. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay. And we're all, the thing that I like to stress when I do push this agenda of mine, okay, this is like just a funny thing that is just a part of the podcast.
You and Troy, dude.
Don't even. Okay,
Troy's
I understand.
The same way. He's like, where's your 3-poi at?
Dude, I get it. But what I do want to say and preface this with is there's endless things to learn with 2. You can never.
I know.
You can never learn all the stuff in any 2, 3, doesn't matter. Any combination, you'll never learn all the stuff, right? So plenty of stuff to do with 2, plenty of awesome stuff to do with 2. So I never wanted to come across as like narcissistic or whatever. Like I like
watching
3.
it.
I'm a fan, dude.
It's cool to see sometimes. Like I don't know. I guess I'm very drawn towards the symmetry of 2. I like seeing 3-poi. Sometimes I don't like seeing 3-poi. Sometimes I mean, I would, if it came to, if it was like, hey, Matt, you can either watch 2-poi or 3-poi for the rest of your life, which will it be? 2-poi easily.
That's fair.
If I'm going to spin, like I'm never gonna spin 3-poi ever. But there are definitely some 3-poi. There are some 3-poi spinners that when I watch them, I'm like, that's really cool. And you could only ever do that with 3. I have a 3-poi video saved that I sent you.
Oh, sweet.
Like, I'm gonna show you some. I told you that I'd send you my last 5 saved videos. One of them is a 3-poi video, and
Fantastic.
I just saved it because it looks really good. It's just cool to watch, but I'm never gonna do it.
That's fair. We'll drop it.
And it's not even like a no. It's kind of funny. I actually think it's funny because people have so many arguments, but I'm just like, here's my argument why I don't like it as much. Is because it kind of comes down to like whenever I started spinning poi, my attachment to it developed over this like relationship that I built with these like stories that I was kind of like telling myself and coming up with whenever I was deconstructing all this religion in my life in the beginning stages of my poi spinning. I would just like take acid. I probably took acid like 5 times a week, and I would just drop acid. I'd put on Alan Watts and I'd put on some instrumental music in the background because they didn't have all these like Alan Watts music tracks at the time yet. Like Alan Watts was still very like kind of underground, like not as popular as today. Sure. And I would put on a lecture of his, like a full hour and a half lecture and some instrumental music. And I would take some acid and I would just start spinning poi alone in my room by myself. And I was having all these thoughts, and I was just like, I was kind of like, because I grew up very fundamentalist religion, like Jesus is it. God created the earth and everything in 7 days, not trillions and billions of years. There's no evolution. Gay people go to hell, obviously. Like, there's just so many things that was just like,
take it out of context, put it on Instagram. Just kidding.
Oh yeah. Please make that a soundbite, please. I
appreciate you being open and honest.
I will repeat myself. Gay people go to hell, obviously.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So obviously I'm kidding. But anyways, I had all these things that I was wrestling with, and I was like trying to like, you know, either erase from my brain or try to like be like, okay, well, people believe this and they really believe that that's true. So maybe this version of maybe what they think that they're saying, what they're saying by this is what these people over here are saying by that. And so like, we're all just using different words and language to say the same things. And I was just putting a lot together in my brain and spinning
of course, man.
And it was like the poi themselves were like these like visual, because acid like just connects all these things and makes things connect that aren't really connections. But it was like the both the things that I was seeing, because I had like my poi set to like a orange and a blue color, so it was like fire and water or whatever, and just all these different things that I was just conceptualizing, and I was just putting it all together, and the movements and how I was moving my body and how the balls were chasing each other and the gravity of it all and just what it all was. I was like, it was like these stories that the poi were telling me that I grew a really like strong attachment to. And so,
well, you can really tell in your style, and I think it's awesome that poi was so intertwined with such a serious ideological shift and a spiritual shift in yourself.
Yeah, and I can't like have like that story doesn't make the same sense as it does with 3. Like here's something that I like, a little tidbit that I got out of it is like where like spinning poi feels like just life, just pure life is this art, because where in the universe is there life where there aren't balls spinning around each other? Like the only place that we know of so far is Earth, which is a ball spinning around a sun with another ball spinning around it. Okay, I guess we got a 3-poi scenario.
Oh, hey.
No, but like, you see what I'm saying though? So it's like these but it was like these stories that I was telling myself that I was creating with 2-poi that I grew a really strong attachment to. And so because of that, like I'm still doing that to this day. And I just like, whenever I'm spinning 3-poi, it just feels like I'm creating technical maneuvers. It doesn't feel like I'm like opening up this beautiful storybook that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of why. And so like, it is really like this deep and like kind of like poetic reason why I really like 2-poi and why I just don't connect with 3-poi. So there's like a really valid reason. And whenever I explain that to people, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But like, all right. But I hate to bring it up because I kind of like the camaraderie of the like, come on, where's your 3-poi at? And I'm like, fucking up your butt. That's where
yeah. Hey, Matt, why don't you spin 3-poi? Well, see, the thing is I grew up fundamentalist Christian. You know, they're like, whoa, dude, like, you know, no, I
goes back to 93 in Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, right. No, I appreciate your stories, man, and it's all just fun around here. I poke fun at my guests. This is like it's an ongoing theme because I love 3-poi so much. Obviously,
I should say my new answer is going to be because I'm too good at 4-poi.
Hey, do it. Pick up, Matt, just blow everybody's brain and just pick up a 4th and just skip over 3 entirely. I'm here for it. Double meteor Matt is out here. All right. So let's get into some of your favorite poi videos on YouTube and on Instagram, and discuss what makes them so special to you. You sent over some clips that we'll get into. Joey's going to go ahead and pull them up whenever he's ready, and we'll get right into it. Do you want to start that one over, Joey, so I can see that opening one more time?
Oh, so we should also let people know these aren't necessarily my 5 favorite. These aren't my favorite. These are just my last saved. The last 5 poi videos that I saved.
Thank you for clarifying. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't really have favorites. It's really hard for like, it'll be my favorite until I see something else cool, you know, and then I'll be like, well, that's my favorite now. No, that's my favorite. No, that's my favorite.
Right. Yeah. Chasing the Fractal Fox on Instagram. He is a huge friend of the channel. We absolutely love him, and he's been on the podcast as well. Go check him out. He has tons of great content. He is actually one of my favorite spinners, I'll say, that I've found in the last, I'll say, like 2 years or so, because he is so talented in so many ways and such a humble dude, and his story and his mindset on poi is like truly one of my favorites that I've gotten into. So yeah, much love to you, sir. If you're watching this, I hope you are. Go show him some love on Instagram. That's where he's posting the majority of his content. And what a fantastic video to send in and to save. I love that you saved it.
It's so good. He's so good. I got to meet him in 2018 at Campfire, and then I got to really get to know him whenever I got to interview him. And I got to ride around with him in San Francisco a little bit, and that was, yeah, he's really fucking cool.
Yeah, isn't he just a man?
Yeah, he's so nice. I don't even know who this person is. What is their name?
So I actually don't know their name. I could be wrong here. I believe they're Russian.
They are definitely Russian. Fucking look at their poi spinning.
I know, right?
Is that racist to say? I don't care.
No, it's not. It's like they have such a style, like a unique style. The Russians
you can tell when someone is Russian from the way that they spin poi, and sometimes even just from their poi setup. This like blue and pink with the thin tethers and like ball knobs. Like,
dude, if we're wrong, we're gonna look like fools out here. Let's just say, say
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we're wrong, he's Ukrainian, and he's not. So we're not.
shout out to MC Poi Ra and April, or Ape Spins on Instagram. One of my favorites. She's absolutely incredible. Her long poi style.
Yeah, these little one-handed things. She was doing like some stuff in the beginning there with the one-handed like things that I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting and creative. I think that's why I saved it. But she's definitely got she doesn't even have the longest poi I've ever seen, though. There's a guy here in Portland. His name is Noah. And I think his poi are like 37 or 38 inches long. No, I'm not kidding. They're 30 something inches long, almost 40 inches long. Dude, they're stupid long.
That's preposterous.
Whenever he spins fire, he'll be doing like a shoulder reel or whatever, just like doing it, whatever. His hands are at his shoulders and his poi are like almost touching his feet. I'm not fucking kidding.
Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. But shout out to April. She is absolutely one of my favorite spinners that I've seen. She incorporates so much contact and so many cool like tangles and stalls, and I love the long poi aesthetic. She really rocks it. So another awesome video for you to have saved.
I like how she does a lot of stuff that's like kind of simple too, like just in a very cool, elegant way. See, here's the 3 poi video I was talking about. That's
Daddy Chesh. Of course it is. Of
Dude,
course.
What the fuck, man?
Our boy.
I'm so glad he's back to posting. Fuck, I can't talk.
I know.
It's irreverent to talk while he's spinning. Let's just take a moment.
I'll take a moment.
Oh my god. So he took a little break from poi spinning. Man, me and Chesh go way back. He's probably my best friend in the whole world, or at least
he's a great dude.
On a very short list of very, very good friends. Like
he's a great dude.
We've gone through a lot together, me and that kid. And, oh my god, he's so good.
Shout out to Chesh. He's a huge friend and supporter of the channel. We absolutely love him, and had the pleasure of meeting him and hanging out with him in person quite a bit. And he is just an incredibly nice dude with a crazy, insightful story. And his burning style, his fire style is absolutely my favorite.
He does a lot. Oh yeah, he's there again. I saved 2 videos of him in my last 5.
Well, so you put him on your top 5, or just, I asked you for 5 people that are inspiring you, and you sent Chesh, and I went ahead and picked this video to throw in here of his.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, he's so creative and so different. Like I remember when I first started watching him spin poi, like, and he's grown so fast too. When I interviewed him, he was only like 2 or 3 years into spinning poi.
No kidding.
Or something, maybe like 4. It was. Let's see. He started in 2018. I think I interviewed him in 2021. So like 3 years. He's stupid good.
Okay, and then we have bless.yes, and you want to tell me this is a Portland friend of yours, is that right?
This is ŝība. I have had the pleasure of watching her grow as a poi spinner. I think she started coming to the Haven or ʀᴱᴱ, I think like 6 months into spinning poi or something, maybe a year. So she was very new when I met her, and over the years, she's just developed this like really cool horizontal plane based flow style. Like everything she does almost is in horizontal plane, and she does the most creative things. She does stuff in horizontal plane I've never seen anyone ever do ever. And
Wow.
and she just she just stays in horizontal for so long.
Totally.
And she just does all these cool fucking things. She also spins staff, and she's really good at that.
Yeah, and that's really cool that she's only 6 months, or at that time that she had been coming around, she was fairly new. And being around so many talented people, especially having a community of folks who are pushing themselves and able to teach each other, and having a community is just so important for folks to really get out there and have fun with friends and learn all the way while you're doing it. So very cool. Shout out to and her first name one more time.
ŝʟᴇ, SHEBA. Yeah.
Shout out to ʃʟᴇ. This is an awesome video. I very much enjoyed that. She did stay in horizontal plane for quite a while there.
Right.
And then what do we have? Another Chesh video, dude. What?
This is just gonna be a dick sucking video for Chesh.
This is just a Chesh watching session here. Okay, so we're cool with it. I'm cool with it. He has so many fun little right angles and contact little ditties, and yeah, you know what's crazy about Chesh, dude, is he'll do so much of this shit on fire, and I'm like, you're actually a madman for doing it.
He does a lot of stuff. And what's also crazy too, I've seen a lot of people do a lot of contact stuff on fire, and I usually could give a shit because usually the complexity of the contact, you need to be able to see the tethers in order to see like why, like the shape or pattern or whatever. Mm-hmm. And but I don't know what it is about like the way that Chesh incorporates contact into his fire. It's because he does a lot of stuff where like he'll grab it and toss it, and like he just does a lot of stuff that it just actually looks cool on fire. Like it does. I can't say enough good things about. Yeah, I've asked him, I'm like, how do you get so creative and like so different? He's like, fucking trying not to do drugs and trying not to kill yourself. Put those two things together, don't have any friends, and you'll get really good.
Ryan Dusham, shout out to Ryan here. Dusham, you spelled here at the bottom, you can see it. But again, we did talk about Ryan earlier in the episode, but I chose this video because this, and of course you had said that Ryan's one of your biggest inspirations, but this video was really awesome because he's just in a beautiful location, spinning fire point, and we love to see it. Ryan is a fantastic spinner, and
his
like I said,
is so clean.
We did do an interview with him, so go check it out if you want to learn more about Ryan. What a great dude, and what a great spinner. Very talented.
If you can't see like how much inspiration I get, like if you're familiar with my poi spinning, or you're not, whatever, just go watch it. And then you look at this video, it's like, oh yeah, obviously this guy inspires Matty, because like I feel like watching a lot of the things he does, I'm like, oh, if anyone sees that, they're gonna just be like, Matty Stoner's a copycat. Because like I really get a lot of inspiration from those little transitions, that little thing that he did with the pendulums, like things like that. Like fuck, dude, I can't.
He's sweet.
Like, he melts my brain and mesmerizes. It's like, but like in such a massaging motion rather than like an explosive motion. Like it's so like, it feels so good, and then by the end I'm like, oh fuck, I'm a pile of goo. Dude.
Oh yeah, he has some sweet stuff right there. I can definitely see some inspiration.
Can't you though?
Can't you? Absolutely. Yeah, I totally can.
Yeah. Oh my god.
There was some sweet stuff right there for sure, man.
His use of pendulums and isolations and just like his whole body, like, and control, and like, oh my god, it looks
and a lot of those hybrids, the isolation versus extension right there, and he's really switching to different parts of his body. I can definitely see it, and I can see why you love Ryan so much, as do I.
Doesn't that look so nice? Doesn't that make you only want to spin 2-poi forever?
I love Ryan. Love this video. I love 3-poi very much. You were trying to bait me, motherfucker.
You see,
not today, Matty.
Trying to get it in there.
Not today, brother. Cool. And yeah, and go, like I said, go find his stuff on Instagram as well. Him and his partner Kristen, they have awesome partner poi stuff as well, and they are just doing really, really great work. So definitely go show him some love. And if you have any questions about Partner Poi, they're both fantastic people to ask about, and what very humble and kind artists they are.
When I met them, it was Ryan and Squirrely, and I never really knew what her real name was until recently. So I was just like, it's Squirrely, right? Like, why are you guys all calling her by this weird legal name? That sounds weird. I don't know.
Well,
do you still
by...
go by Squirrely out there? Are you squirreling around?
To my knowledge, it's Kristen. That's yeah. Because when I interviewed them, it was it was both of their legal names, their government names. I don't know if that's actually their legal name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, their whole story is really cute too.
It is so cute, isn't it? Oh my gosh, they're great.
Yeah, I miss them. I need to catch up with them soon.
I hope I catch them at an event here soon. I wonder. I should hit them up and ask them what events they're going to. And then we have the last video. I'm just going to skip ahead of myself here a little bit. Is Geometric, which is it Matt? Is it Matt Freeman? Is that right?
Matt Freeman is the name that he went by for the longest time, and now his Instagram is Oliver. But I texted him today to see if that was a dead name, and I did not get a response back from him. He's a busy guy. He is a dad. He works hard.
Well, tons of contact inspiration in here, and yeah. What do you like so much about this video, aside from him being a great friend of yours and a great dude? And because we did get into it a little bit earlier, but what do you think about this video?
That toss, so dude, that horizontal toss from one hand, dude. He's moving too quickly for me to even comment on anything. He was one of the first like internet poi spinners like on Instagram, because like I met him on Poi Chat and he kind of introduced me to Instagram poi spinners. And I remember being like, I can't even learn anything from your poi spinning videos because it's all so far out. Like I couldn't even figure it out. And then whenever I met him in person and he was teaching me some stuff, I was like, it's a lot easier to learn something from someone in person than it is from a video, because in a video you can't see how much space there is this way. And so like you can't really tell like how things are done as much. But like whenever you learn from someone, you can be like, oh my God, like I have so much space to do this thing over here. And it still looks like I'm just like reaching to the side when really like I'm reaching or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
I get you.
There's so many. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's just so much. And and he was like, fucking yeah, that's why you got to go to flow festivals. That's why you got to hang out with poi spinners.
True.
And I didn't know anybody else, but like, yeah, there's so many things in that video that I was like that horizontal toss that he
it was
doing
nuts.
Something
it was so cool.
And he comes up with sequences. I'm 100% willing to bet that video was thought of from like beginning to end. He thought of the entire thing. And something else that he kind of, I don't know if it was him or actually, no, I think it might've been লীᴇᴱᴜ who introduced me to like reverse sequencing, like coming up with the last thing first and then just kind of working your way back to the first thing.
Oh man.
I think that was Levi actually, but Matty taught me a lot. And just like, he's just a fantastic person. He's someone who is like, who's dealt with, I don't want to like air out his laundry. So I'll just say that he's dealt with personal issues in his life so sincerely that he's like willing to really examine like every part of his life. And even in like, he basically like put flow arts down for a minute because like he just stopped doing it for a minute because he kind of saw similarities between his relationship with flow arts and other problems in his life. And, and just like, I mean, he got back to it. Like he's gotten back to it since then, but just I've had so many great conversations with that guy. He's such a fantastic fucking person.
Shout out to j_metric on Instagram. Y'all know where to find him. That does bring me to my next question for you, Matty. I'll say when or if you are going to any flow events this year, which ones are you going to?
Okay, well, I have soft plans to go to a flow festival in California, and I was not going to talk about this yet because the only way that I'll be able to do it is if they accept my application to be an instructor, which is the first time I've ever done this. I've never applied to be an instructor. So I'm fucking nervous about
Well,
even
Matty, even if they do or don't accept it, I really hope to see it there. I'm assuming
you
it's
know,
fire drums, correct?
yeah. And I was like, you know what? Maybe if I say it on a podcast that I'll put pressure on them, they'll be like, all right,
Don't
maybe.
no. You know what's funny is I had a
No, please put pressure on them. Be like, hey
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
fire drums, please.
I
Have
had.
Matty do
I'm
it.
just going to shamelessly plug the previous episode that we did with Kevin Axtell. Truthfully, one of my favorite episodes that we've done so far. Kevin is such a amazing, inspiring dude, and he had so much great advice for artists applying to festivals when they're making their applications, and just a lot of wisdom from a dude who has been around for a long time. He directed and organized fire drums for 10 years.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you don't know who he is, go check him out. This episode was badass. He's really, really cool. I am going to turn it over to Joey and let him ask the question. So whenever Joey is ready, you go ahead and take it over and go.
What's going on, Matt? We'll do this one question from @somepoi. They asked, will the vlog be a regular thing?
It will be
Yes.
as regular can be for me. Right now, I have a 6-day work schedule.
Okay.
So I have 1 day off a week. But so far,
Mhm.
I've been trying to dedicate that day to making these little poi vlogs. And it's gonna morph. Okay, I'm like episode 3 in, and like I was saying earlier, I might have said this before the podcast started, but I was telling Patrick, I was like, if the first thing that you do is good, then you waited too long. So like start things as soon as you have the idea for it. Let it be shit, and then just like let the shit poop itself out, and then let the good things start.
Metamorphosize, yeah.
Yeah, and let it just kind of like work itself out along the way. So that way you have the experience and the history of you get it documented and all that. So yeah, I started a YouTube channel. Essentially, that's hi. I started a YouTube channel in case you haven't known yet, because it's not really.
We'll throw that down in the description.
I only mentioned it once online so far, so it is kind of new news. So yeah, I started a YouTube channel. It's Matty Stoner on YouTube, and it's a vlog. It's right now I'm talking about poi, and I'm starting with like just some easy moves some of the first moves that I learned, and then my idea behind it is like I'm going to post videos. I'm gonna just go like I'm gonna take my memory of growing through poi and like learning what moves first and like how I came to the like style and stuff that I'm doing now.
Right.
I'm just kind of like take you along that journey, starting with the first things that I learned after a butterfly. And there might be other things too, or it might change entirely. I don't know, but that's kind of the thought process behind the videos that I'm making right now. Yeah, and I think I'm just going to kind of break down some movements, spin poi, and then be like, oh, this is a thing that I do a lot. Here's a breakdown.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to see that happen. And yeah, we'll definitely throw your YouTube down there. I think that'd be a cool thing to watch going through with all the vlogs. So yeah, thanks for answering that one. And I'll go ahead and kick that back over to Patrick.
All right, Matty. Couple last topics to get back and close out the interview. Number one would be, what does your practice or training look like? Is it more of a go with the flow type approach, or do you have a more regimented or drilling oriented style of practice?
I'm gonna start every question with Isn't that hilarious?
That's okay, Matty.
All right. Well, it's just funny because I tend to ask people not to do that whenever I'm doing not really. I just edit it out. So just edit mine out too, okay? So
heard that, Joey?
Yeah, edit out.
It's a lot of ums. It's a lot of ums to edit out.
So my training is morphed over the years. Like at the very beginning, I just played a lot, and I would take something that I learned and I would just do that over and over and over. I like to say like don't drill movements. You should like date movements. So like take a movement and then just like whenever you're dating someone, you want to like take them everywhere that you can go. So like if you can do this like butterfly here, like where all can you do it? Can you do it in front of you? Can you do it over your shoulder? Both shoulders, whatever. Can you do it behind your back? Can you do it over like where can you take this, and where can it take you? you know, like become like familiar with it. Like, don't just be sitting there doing it the whole time. Like, see where you can go with it. Like, you know, like build with it. And that's kind of what I like to do. Like, put on a song and just take one movement and dance the entire song with that one movement. And then you'll see like, oh, whenever I move my body around like this, it actually forces me to do this thing or that thing or whatever. And you're like, oh, cool. Like, you find a lot of cool stuff that way. So it is kind of very play based, I guess, with a little bit of discipline. Because if there's something that I'm doing and I will hit myself, I will just pause there. So like if I'm doing any type of movement, even if it's something that I'm familiar with and I'm like, oh, I hit myself there. Or if I'm trying to do it the opposite direction or whatever, you know, and I can't do it perfectly, then I'll just like kind of pause there. And usually I'll have on like TV or a podcast or something, and I'll have something else to focus on. So that way I'm not, I don't know. It's like ADD brain kind of.
I get it.
And I take my poi everywhere and I play with them as often as I can.
Sure. So your sessions are a little bit more, I'll say, go with the flow type of style, right? You're not necessarily
scheduled.
drilling.
Yeah, and I don't like schedule it. I did for a little while. There was a period of my life where the only place that I had to train was the Jewish Community Center, and I had to be there at certain times. So at those times I was a little bit more like, I have to be here at this time to this time. And I also want to make sure that I'm practicing these things because I want to get better at those things. That was the only time in my life. And it was kind of like right in the middle-ish somewhere, like 2018 or 17 or something.
Sure. And how long would you say typically are your sessions?
It's like all day, every day when I'm not like doing chores or when I'm not at working, it's literally like if I'm not doing something else, like you know what I mean? Like I'm not like
I got you. You fill in a lot of spots.
I fill in a lot of my dead time spinning poi, and because it's very much like a self-soothing thing. It's not necessarily it's my progression at poi. The reason why I'm any good at it now or better than I used to be is because of how much self-soothing I need. And so like I do it very, very often to self-soothe and not necessarily at this point to like get better. And I don't really remember whenever I was trying to get better, I was just eating a lot of acid. So however long an acid trip lasts. So.
And nowadays you're really, it's more of a self-care type thing. It's more of a self-help and self-care type of practice. Is that fair to say?
For sure. It started as like a tool to help deconstruct, and now it's definitely a tool to just soothe and meditate. And yeah.
Well, I love that. Matty, it's been a fantastic episode. We're going to get to some closing thoughts. Anything that you want to close out the episode with? Any shout outs you want to give, or any closing thoughts about the podcast, or anything that you have to say? Go ahead and do that now.
Wow. Let's see. Who would I have to shout out? ʤʟᴚ PDX, Mariano. That facility has done a lot of growth and healing for me. And shout out to DBT. You know, DBT saved my life. That's dialectical behavioral therapy. And if you have, you know, issues with emotion regulation or relationship effectiveness or just like communication, it's like I can't suggest DBT skills enough. Even if you can just like Google it, YouTube it, TikTok, Instagram, just fucking find ways to learn DBT skills. That's I want to start bringing that to flow festivals too. Like I think that the flow community would benefit hella from DBT. So it saved my life, kept me from killing myself, kept me from being an asshole to other people and blaming other people, and helped me take responsibility for a lot of shit and grow through a lot of shit. So shout out to DBT.
Those are all very positive words of wisdom and words of advice. So thank you very much for that. And Matty, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I hope you go to Fire Drums or
I do
I hope
too.
I
I'll
hope
probably
that
be at Kindle too. Obviously,
okay,
that's easy. It's in
okay.
my backyard, but you better be
That's
there
fair.
again. It's in your kind of backyard ish.
It's not about to be. Your boy's moving to Phoenix.
Okay, but it's not far.
Your boy's moving to Phoenix.
Just please go
So
to Kindle.
so I'm definitely going to Fire Drums. I will see
Okay.
if Kindle is in the cards.
All right. Well,
but-
Fire Drums might be in the. I think it's in the cards for me. We'll just see. Just
Dude, I
Fire
really
Drums,
hope
put
so.
me on. Just put me on your roster, Fire
I'm
Drums.
going to put that out there in the ether, man. I'm
Please.
just planning on seeing you there. So whenever I see you again, I know it'll be a blast. We always have a great time together, spinning, jamming, talking about Poi, talking about life, man. You're definitely somebody that I connected with right off the bat, and we got to spend some really quality time together. And
Yeah, ditto.
very, very grateful for the time that we spent together in
Likewise.
Portland. And we had a good ass weekend, dude. We had a good ass weekend. That was full of a lot of fun, a lot of marijuana, and it was legal the entire time. Shout out to Oregon and their legal marijuana laws.
And our
That was
beautiful coastline, and we have a lot of
Yeah.
impressive shit to show outsiders. So it's really it's nice to like show people a good time here. And
I had a blast, brother. Thank you very much for the time and just all the wonderful thoughts, all the stories about the episode today, your life, spinning Poi, and all the wonderful things that we got to talk about.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for being episode 28, dude.
Woo!
All right, man. We'll go ahead and close it out. Go support Matty on YouTube, Instagram, wherever he is releasing content. Y'all know where to find him at Matty Stoner on Instagram. Tell us what you liked about the episode in the comments below. And episode 28, y'all, that'll be it. Peace out, everybody.
Be good, be safe, be kind.
That's a wrap.